So welcome coaches. We are so pleased that you are here. We are ready for this. We are ready for you. And after 6 years in this project together, we've grown in some pretty significant ways. And so I'd like to just begin where we could reflect on a few of those ways and use this reflection to welcome our newest members to this coaching network. For several of the new colleagues joining us today, we just say welcome. Welcome to community. Your conversations this week with others will continue all year. Reach out. Our work is uplifted when we know there are others, many others, who understand the complexity of early literacy coaching. Welcome to interconnectedness. Your ideas are important. Your ideas will braid with ours. Our perspectives will expand because you are here. Welcome to a revision mindset. We are constantly in a state of growth in this network. We try to embody the Maya Angelou quote, "When you know better, you do better." And so welcome to that somewhat state of disequilibrium as we learn this week. We know that there'll be new things for all of us in different ways, and we invite you into that mindset. Welcome to deep learning. Your brain may hurt by day 3. Ours always does too, no matter how long we've been in this work. It is worth it. Our students are worth it. Welcome to shared curiosity. Your questions will drive us. Your questions are what drive any project, any study, any learning, any collaboration in this entire network. It's when people ask good questions and we say, I don't know, let's figure it out together. So please ask those questions, and our learning together will spark more curiosity. And welcome to a productive struggle. Your work this year will be difficult. We're used to taking steps forward and steps backwards, sometimes in the same day in this kind of a job. But we promise your successes will outweigh any of the difficulties, and the struggle will be worth it. And you are not alone. Because welcome to strength. We are a strong team. We're a strong network. And of course, we've grown in numbers over the last 6 years, but it's not the numbers that make us strong. You have entered a group who will become and welcome you into any conversation, celebrate with you, question with you, and problem solve with you, and struggle with you. You'll meet people that you might not ever talk to again, but you'll meet people that you develop deep, long relationships with, whether from your local team or beyond. So we're just so excited to welcome you into that strength. And simply welcome to the network. One definition of a network is a fabric or a structure of cords or wires that cross at regular intervals and are knotted or secured at those crossings. So let's think about that for just a second. Cross at regular intervals. So when we think about that, our greatest hope is that each one of you will find this crossing this week and any crossing that we have when we are together to be powerful for the work that you do this year and beyond. We are knotted together in some pretty clear ways. And our greatest hope is that each one of you finds this crossing a way to be secured for this year and any year. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your willingness to negotiate the Zoom and the local and your own space wherever you are physically at today. We know it's a lot, and that's why we've designed an agenda that hopefully will allow for you to be in those spaces in ways that make sense to you. And we also just say, you are an adult, you are a professional, you'll use your time as you need to. Some of you will need to step out. It's okay. It's all okay. You'll take care of yourself this week, and that's what we will celebrate for you. I'd like to also share our agenda and orient ourselves to that. So you should have an agenda document, but really it's our everything document. And in that we have some suggestions up at the top of the document. And we're not going to read through them all, but if you are in a room with other people, we've figured some stuff out. We figured out what it takes for you to each have your own computer, which is really important for an institute like this. It's important for you to be able to participate in some polls. We'll actually use quite a few polls today when we're learning with Dr. Lallier. So it'd be great if you could be on your own laptop or device, whatever you use, so that you can be voicing in on those polls. They will be anonymous, but we really want to hear from the entire group. Also, the chat sometimes gets kind of buzzing, and people, share things, and it's wonderful. As people share resources, we link them often right into our agenda here in the supporting resources column right in the middle. But you'll want access to that. So if at all possible, you having your own device, but just don't join the audio. If there's another computer either projecting in your room or someone else who can turn their audio up so you don't have to, that will avoid those audio issues that can happen when two people are on. And you can always just leave your computer audio and join your computer audio by that tiny little microphone at the very bottom left of your screen. If you click on that little arrow next to it, you can always nimbly leave computer audio or join it. And that's kind of the quick way to stop any of that feedback that might happen. So since today is the first day of 3, and since each day is so rich and full, we have bookmarked links to the agendas because this is a big, long document. And you'll notice the day 1 agenda is right down below, but day 2 and day 3 are here as well. If you have any questions this year as we're learning, this form is right here. We also have linked it as a reminder a couple times throughout the agenda. And if you click on that form at any time, you'll be able to submit a question. Please, choose, there's only a few questions in that form. And it's like, I have a question for Dr. Nalduke. I have a question for Dr. Tanya Wright. I have a question for Dr. Susan Lallier, or I have another question for the MESA team, possibly around logistics, access, things like that. Use that throughout the week, and you'll see a few different reminders in that form to please put your name and your email next to your question. We won't say your name out loud when we answer your question live, but we definitely need to have your name and email in that so that we can get back to you in case there are questions that we don't get to answer live. We want to make sure we can answer you. By the end of the 3rd day, that's when we link the SCECH application. It's just a simple Google form, but we can't link it before the end of the 3rd day, just like those good old sketch processes when we were face-to-face always and had to sign out on the last day. Attendance, this is corrected. This link was not right, but the one down in the agenda was right. But go ahead and pop your name down in that table. And then we'll just put our first and last initials each morning to indicate that, so we don't have to do much more than that. All right, our outcomes are here. You've had our outcomes. This is, while there's a vast amount of expertise here in this network, in this group who's here today. There are people who've definitely been a coach for several years, but now you're in this network and we understand that expertise. There are some of you who just came out of the classroom and you have deep expertise around instructional practice and collaborating and leading with your colleagues. So we don't ever perceive that someone who might be new to the network, as this institute says, is absolutely an empty vessel. So while you read some of these outcomes, know that we understand that there's a lot of expertise here in this space. And there are some understandings that we have been able to all explore the very first year we joined into this work. And you deserve that time as well. You deserve the opportunity to learn deeply with researchers around practices that are low-hanging fruit and that will support your learning and support your coaching and your work with schools. So often when I'm learning things, I'm listening through a lens of not just, oh yeah, I already knew that, but a lens through, I like how that person just said that. I want to remember that when someone asks me a question in a school about something, I want to have that person's language and be able to transfer that and communicate about coaching and leadership and instruction in the way they just did. So I find this as like an ongoing coaching experience to be able to learn from experts like that. So hopefully you see yourself in the outcomes, but also maybe see yourself in the understanding of how this is really a lot of language, a lot of resources that you can use as you now lead and continue to lead in your spaces. Last thing is just the format of this agenda. Obviously, we have the time, we have content and process defined here in this first white column, all supporting resources. And for some of these topics, the supporting resources are vast, but all of them are right here in the middle. And then we teased out that there are the slides for everything we're going to learn this week here in this fourth column. For those of you who like to print those, if we were in a big conference room, we would have printed them for you. You would have picked them all up. But there they are, if that's helpful. No need to print them if that access is difficult. And then as we complete each recording and as they're rendered, we will link them here so you can come back to this agenda and rewatch things whenever you need to. You'll notice breaks. We have 15-minute breaks in the morning and the afternoon. We have a 45-minute lunch period. And you'll also notice each of the 3 days after our afternoon break, you have team time. So you'll be able to be with the coaching coordinator for your organization, allowing their availability, of course, if you need to reschedule that, we understand. So you'll be able to be together and for this first day, explore some of the documents that are shared with you. And then throughout the 3 days, you'll be able to work toward identifying two different goals, one for your professional learning and one for your coaching work. And that'll be important by the third day to share with that coaching coordinator and possibly with other colleagues, simply because we all deserve coaching. Everybody deserves that support and that feedback and that partnership all year. You'll notice from 3 to 3:30, it's your time. This is a lot. These days are a lot. And you deserve time to breathe, time to reflect. Maybe you do that in writing, time to walk. We don't care what you're doing from 3 to 3:30. We just hope you're taking care of yourself. The reason why it's on this agenda is you deserve credit for that time. So the SCECH hours include that time because of course you're going to do things to kind of let the learning of the day sink in, but truly you're done when you're done with your team time and you absolutely deserve any credit for that extra reflection, which solidifies any of our work together. Okay, that is enough for now. As I stop sharing and I now look at us again and I see there aren't any glaring things in the chat that we need to address. I think that means we are ready to invite Dr. Lallier in. Yay, she's here. I'm going to make your co-host, Dr. Lallier, as we planned, because you need access to be able to launch polls. So she is here, and it's my joy to introduce us to her here today.